In today's episode, you are going to learn the outdoor portrait retouching in Photoshop. Coming up. Hey, what's up? This is Harshvardhan and welcome to another superb episode. In this episode, we are going to retouch this image. This image is by the Lakshya and we are going to retouch this image in Photoshop. And before we go any further, please do subscribe to this channel if you want to take your photography and Photoshop skills to a whole new level. And to subscribe, just click the big red button below this video and don't forget to click the bell icon as well. That way you'll not miss any new video from this channel. Having said that, let's get started. So just double click it and it is going to launch the camera raw in Adobe Photoshop, and there I'm going to do some basic editing to this image. So first of all, I'm going to press the auto button and this is going to fix the exposure, and now I need to bring down the contrast because I don't want that much of contrast in this image, and then I will lower down its whiteness and highlights so that over here on the skin I don't see that much of light, okay, so that I get some details on the skin. All right, that's fine. And let's increase the clarity a little bit, not that much, but little bit is fine. Just go to the sharpening filter and increase the sharpening to maybe 36 and press Alt or Option and drag this masking until you see the edges, and then increase the luminance, and if you want you can increase the sharpening even little bit more, and you can see if I just go to 100%, and this image now looks much better. And this is without the sharpening and this is after the sharpening, and you can see we have brought out lots of detail in this image. All right, and let me just fit it in the view, and then I will come over here on the lens correction and check this remove chromatic aberration, and I will enable this profile correction. And just pay attention to over here, the moment I check this remove chromatic aberration or enable profile correction, you can see it corrects the lens distortion and as well as the lens vignette, but I don't want the vignette to go away. So what I will do, I will add the vignette using this slider. Okay, so I can do that. And once I'm happy with the result, I will just press open image, and this is going to open this image in Adobe Photoshop. And from here onwards we'll do later or the further editing on this image. Okay, so we have got this image, and let's first retouch the skin. As you can see, there are so much of problem on the skin. So what I can do, I will press Ctrl J, Command J, and then I will use the fastest way to retouch a skin, and that is using the Google's Color Nick EFX Pro, and that is a filter. So we'll go to the filter and then go to the Nick collection and choose Color EFX Pro 4, and this is going to launch the Color EFX Pro interface. It takes a little bit time to launch or the load. And this is a must-have tool. If you don't have it, please do get this. Okay, and over here you can see we need to come over here and we need to come on the dynamic skin softener. So we'll click over here, and here we'll have all these options. So we'll click on this eye picker tool or the color picker tool and we'll make a selection of the skin. So let's say over here. Okay, and moment we have got this, let me just zoom in. If I click over here, it is going to zoom into 100% and we can see clearly how the skin looks after that. Okay, so let me just position it to over here, and let me just take the sample once again from the darker area this time. All right, and you can see the moment we have just selected this color, it has already made this skin smoother. Okay, and we have all of these bunch of options. We can adjust the color reach, so how much color reach you want. Small details, we can adjust how much small details we want to go away or keep. Okay, and similarly with the medium details as well and large details, so you can adjust all of these to get the desired result you want. So I think this one is a little bit okay, and I think this one is fine. You can fine tune it according to your desire or your liking. Okay, and you can see the difference by pressing this compare button, which is over here. So this is before and this is after. Okay, and once you are happy, press OK. And now we can see the difference by turning it on and off. You can see we have already made the skin smoother, and there is little bit problem, so we can fix that using the clone stamp tool or spot healing tool. So we'll choose this spot healing tool, or you can simply press J on your keyboard, or you can come over here to select this. Okay, so we'll paint over here, and wherever you see any problem or these spots, you just click and it is going to take care of those areas. It's very fast or super fast. It's like a bullet train. Okay, and it just very helpful tool. All right, and over here we see some eye bags under the eyes, so we need to fix them. As you can see, these are a lot darker, so we'll create another blank layer. We'll zoom in and we'll choose the stamp tool, which is over here, or this is called the stamp tool, or you can simply press S on your keyboard and come over here on the mode. Make sure you select this lighten option mode and opacity be, let's say, 30%. So let's make the opacity something 30%, and now we need to take the sample from this area and we will paint over here on the eye bags. So for that purpose we need to press Alt or Option and take a sample from that area and start painting on the eye bags. And over here, as you can see, it is not working. The reason being that over here we have just selected current layer, so we need to just change it to all layers and thereafter it is going to work. So now if we just take the sample once again from here and we paint, you can see it has started to make this area lighten. Okay, this is a good technique to lighten the areas because we don't want to completely go away these eye bags, otherwise it's going to look unnatural. Okay, so we'll take sample from this area and we'll start painting on this side. Okay, and if you think that this is not working, so what we can do, we can take sample from this area as well, and let's try this one. So we need to lower down the opacity to around 10% and let's paint in over here. And this side has to be little darker since there is shadow, so we'll take a sample from this area and let's paint a little bit over here. However, this is an outdoor portrait, so there is no need to have that much of clarity on this, on the face. However, you can do this if you want to. Okay, I'm just showing you the technique, and you can even change the blend mode simply to normal by pressing shift and right clicking. You'll have the normal mode or the option to change the mode. So I think this one is fine, and if you think you have overdone it, you can see it is much better than the earlier one, and still we have some problem over here, so I'm going to fix that. So take a sample from this area and paint a little bit over here, and take sample from this area and paint. Okay, and let's see how this one looks. Now this one is looking good, and let me lower down this area a little bit So I'm going to create a mask, use the brush tool, and sometimes we have to apply different settings or different tools to get the result. And I'm painting with the black color and with 20% opacity, and now it looks sort of mixed with the original, and you can see the difference by turning it on and off. This was before, and you can see so much of darkness under the eyes, and now we have just made them light or lighten a little bit. And over here we have some problems, so let me select this layer, press J on my keyboard to have the access to spot healing brush, and now this is fixed. And let's little bit spark in the eyes, so we'll create another blank layer, and this time what we'll do, we'll choose the brush tool, and we'll choose the brush tool which has the little bit hardness, so maybe around 27% hardness, and we'll change the opacity to 100%. Select the white color, and wherever you see this light area, just create a shape of like this. And similarly on this side as well, over here, and change this layer blend mode to, let's say, try linear dose, not, let's say, try overlay. Yes, overlay is looking good, and let's try soft light. Soft light is also looking good, and you can see this is the before and this is after. And now we need to just make them little bit blurry, so we'll go to the filter, choose blur, and we'll choose Gaussian blur, and let's say try 1 pixel or 2 pixels, maybe something like this, and press OK. And you can see now the eyes have much spark, and eyes are more lively in this after we have just applied a little bit small technique. This technique is very, very helpful. All right, and now this one is looking much better. Okay, and now is the time to, let me just first save this image, and okay, let me save it with this name. And now we are going to dose and burn this image, so we'll create another blank layer and we'll call it D, and we'll create another copy. Sorry, before creating another copy we need to fill this layer, so we'll go to the edit, select fill, and from this drop down menu we'll select the 50% gray. Okay, and press OK, and change the layer blend mode to overlay. All right, and now we are going to create a duplicate copy of it, and we are going to rename it as B for burn. All right, and let me just free up my RAM. I'm going to purge all my data. All right, and we'll come over here on the dose tool, which is over here, and make sure the mid-tone exposure is around 10%. That's fine. All right, and start painting on the areas which are darker, or wherever you see some shadows. All right, sorry, this is the dosing, so we'll select the dose layer and we'll paint wherever we see the highlights. So we'll be painting on those areas which are light, and that's how we can shape the face or bring out the details. So we can paint in the eyes as well. We can make them much brighter this way. And if you want to learn all the techniques of dosing and burning, which are used by the professionals all over the world and even by the amateurs, then you can check out my course Dose and Burn Masterclass, and there is a link to that in the description section, or you can go to my website harshvardhanart.com and just check the premium tutorials, and in the premium tutorials you will be taken to my another site, and which is built specially for the tutorials, and you can go over there, and that way, and there you will find this course, complete course. Okay, So if you want to learn all these techniques in depth, then you can go there. All right. And similarly over here as well. So on the body part, I think this is already light, so we don't need to add much light on this image. And if you want, you can paint little bit highlights on selective parts of the body or this image, and you can resize the image accordingly. And let me paint in over here, make these little lighter, little bit light, and similarly on this side. Okay, and once we are done, you can check the difference by turning it on and off. And now's the time to do some burning. So we'll come over here, and this time we'll select the burn tool. And again, the exposure has to be 10%. So we need to change this to 10. And this time we are going to paint on the darker areas. So on the hairs, on the eyebrows, on the eyes or darker part of the eyes, and on these makeup. So this is also accentuate the makeup on the face. So this tool is really great, or this technique is really fantastic. Okay. And you can increase the size of the brush and paint. And I'm going to just sculpt the face. Okay, and over here I'm going to make this darker little bit on this part as well. And if you want, you can make other part dark as well using this technique. You can add little bit depth in the hairs. And now you can see the difference by turning this on and off, and you can see how we have sculpted the face with this technique. And now we need to add little bit redness on the face. So we'll create another layer, and I'm going to call it red. Okay, and change this layer blend mode to, let's say, soft light, and going to pick this pink color, something like this, pastel red. And I'm going to paint in, oh sorry, we need to first change it to the brush tool, and that brush tool has to be with 0 hardness. And then I'm going to paint in little bit. We need to lower down the opacity to 10%, and then we can paint little bit. All right, and that way what we are doing, we are adding little bit redness on the cheeks, and that looks fantastic. Okay, and even on the lips, if you want, you can choose another color, let's say little dark red, and you can see the difference by turning it on and off. The little bit subtle difference, but this difference has made it look more fantastic. And we need to paint a little bit over here. Let's make little bit body pinkish. Okay, and you can paint on other areas as well, and that way it looks much fantastic. Okay, and at the moment you can see that this skin does not look that natural because we have put lots of makeup, but this is how the skin looks after you apply lots of makeup on the face, even in the real life. But here we are going to add little bit texture to this image, though this skin has already the texture in it. So I'm going to show you how you can add little bit texture to the skin. So for that purpose, we'll create another layer, and we are going to call it texture. And we'll go to the edit select fill, and from this drop down menu make sure you select the 50% gray and press change layer blend mode to, let's say, overlay, and press OK. And let's change its layer blend mode to soft light or overlay, and let's zoom in. And now we are going to add the noise to this image. So we'll go to the filter, select noise and select add noise, and over here we need to make sure we select this monochromatic, and then you can choose the uniform or Gaussian. You can choose whichever you want. I think I will go for uniform, and I'm going to lower down the amount to something which I like. So let's say around 2%. Alright, let it be 2%, and we'll press OK. And you can see it has added the noise to this image, you can see. And now we'll go to the filter, stylize, and then we are going to add the emboss. Okay, so we'll select the emboss, and from the emboss we need to select this angle, and this angle has to be from the light source or in the direction of light source. Since you can see in this image light is coming from the right side, so we'll change the angle to this direction, and we can adjust the heights of the emboss, and we can adjust their amount and press OK. And let's see what it does. It has added a little bit texture, and now we need to go to the filter and select sharpen and select unsharp mask, and we'll increase its amount to the sharpening level, and we can adjust the radius as well, but I think this much amount is just fine, around 80%, and we'll press OK. And you can see we have added the texture, but this texture is not looking that good because it is spread everywhere. All right, so for that purpose we will press Alt or Option and click on the mask icon, which is over here, and this is going to create a black mask, and that way it is going to create the black mask, and it is going to completely hide this image or this effect of this layer from the image. So we'll right click, select the brush tool, and we'll select this time softest hardness with 0 hardness brush, and we'll choose the opacity 100%, and this time with the white color brush, and with the white color we are going to paint on the skin, and wherever we are going to paint in, it is going to add the texture which we have just created. Okay, and if you think that it is too much, don't worry, we can fix that. We can always lower down the opacity the way we want. Okay, and over here as well. However, there is no need to add on this area, but if you want, you can add that as well. And that would make the skin look natural, not the plastic one. Okay, and you can see if I press Control 1, it is going to show me the 100% preview of this layer, and then I can lower down its opacity according to my liking, maybe something like this. And you can see this is before and this is after. It has made the subtle change, but now the image or the skin looks much natural. All right, and this is not a beauty shot, and if you apply this on a beauty shot where only the face is in focus or the face is in the frame, then this effect would look amazing. All right, you can see, and if you see there is some problem, you can fix that as well. So we'll create another layer, press J on our keyboard, and paint on these lines. Little bit over here. And make sure you select sample all layers. Alright, that's fine, and you can see the difference by turning it on and off. And let me just select all of these layers, Ctrl G to group them together, and you can see the skin and the face. We have just completely changed the face of this model using this technique. Okay, and now is the time to retouch this image or add little bit drama to this image.